Hey everyone! Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know what you do in my situation. Now here's my story. I still remember the exact moment everything started unraveling. My phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, and when I picked it up, I froze. A text from her. We need to talk. I can't keep pretending anymore. Just like that, my morning coffee went cold, and the world felt heavier. My fiancée, the woman I promised forever to, had drawn a line I had unknowingly crossed. It started small, almost invisible. A missed call here, a text deleted too quickly there. I blamed myself at first, thinking maybe I was overreacting, being paranoid. She was always so polite, so caring. Why would she hide anything from me? But then came the little things that didn't add up. Whispered conversations when I walked into the room, her sudden defensiveness, and the way she flinched when I leaned over to look at her phone. I should have trusted my instincts. I should have stopped myself before saying the words that changed everything. You think they're harmless, but they aren't, she said one evening, voice tight, eyes avoiding mine. I can't watch you smile at other women or flirt with jokes that aren't jokes. I won't be that person who watches my future crumble silently. I laughed it off at first, thinking she was overreacting, but something in her tone, a mixture of fear, hurt, and frustration, cut through me. I smiled nervously and said something I would regret for the rest of my life. Maybe I'd like it if you felt the same way sometimes. Her face went pale. That's when I realized I had crossed her line, not with my actions but with my words. A careless sentence, a moment of thoughtlessness, and suddenly I was looking into eyes that had once held love and trust, now clouded with disbelief and pain. The days that followed were a blur of tension. She was distant, polite but cold, and I couldn't read her anymore. Every laugh she shared felt like it belonged to someone else. Every touch felt like a reminder that I had pushed her to the edge. My mind went in circles. Was she overreacting, or had I truly messed up everything? I started noticing things I'd ignored before. The way she checked her phone in private, how she stepped back when I reached for her hand, even the lingering scent on her jacket that didn't belong to me. Then I found the messages. Just one glance at her phone, something I swore I'd never do, and there it was, undeniable and crushing. Not pictures, not confessions, but words. Words she had written to him, the other man, about boundaries, about restraint, about temptation, about me. I felt sick, my stomach twisting in ways I didn't think were possible. I wanted to throw up, scream, run, beg, everything at once. But more than anything, I felt a hollow emptiness, the kind that makes time slow and memories burn. All those quiet evenings we'd spent together, all the promises whispered in bed late at night. Were they lies, or had I just been blind? She came home that night, and I confronted her. I don't think either of us were prepared for what came next. She didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just looked at me with an honesty that made me ache. I wanted to believe we could survive anything, she said softly. I drew a line because I thought it would protect us, and then you tested it. I can't pretend anymore. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about betrayal. This was about trust broken, about lines crossed, about the painful gap between love and respect. We talked for hours, or maybe minutes. Time had lost all meaning. I admitted my mistakes, my carelessness, my thoughtless words. She admitted hers too, not in confession, but in quiet remorse, the kind that didn't need justification. It was messy, raw, and deeply human. By morning, I made a decision. It wasn't easy. It wasn't cinematic or heroic. I chose to step back, to let her heal, to respect the boundaries she had drawn, even if it meant losing the person I thought I would spend my life with. Walking out of that apartment, I felt a strange mix of grief and relief. Grief for what was lost, for the love that slipped through our fingers, and relief that I could finally breathe without guilt clawing at me from the inside. Weeks have passed since then, and the memory still stings, but I've learned something crucial. Love isn't just about passion or closeness. It's about understanding limits, respecting boundaries, and valuing trust above all else. Crossing a line, even with words, can shatter everything in an instant. And as I rebuild, piece by piece, I carry that lesson with me. Pain teaches you things love never can. And sometimes the hardest choice, the one that feels like losing everything, is the one that preserves your humanity. So, if you've ever felt torn between love and mistakes, remember this story. Remember the weight of words, the fragility of trust, and the quiet strength it takes to walk away, even from the person you thought you'd never let go. If you related to this, or have been through something similar, drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and your story matters.